Ladies and gentlemen, 6 years after Jayalalitha's death, the pro-panel report tabled in the Tamil Nadu Assembly has opened a Pandora's box. The Justice A. Arumagaswamy Commission of Inquiry has revealed the criminal act behind the circumstances to the death of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. The report indicts Sasikala, former Chief Secretary Ram Mohan Rao, former Health Minister C. Vijay Bhaskar as well. The Commission report has made some sensational charges, claiming that Jayalalitha was never informed about her health issues or the treatment options, even while she was conscious. It states that Jayalalitha's cabinet colleagues were not taken into confidence, and it was only Sasikala and the Chief Secretary who signed on the necessary records. The panel report says that this state of affairs would only expose the hospital and Sasikala to the comment that this was part of a design to get things done in a manner to suit a particular objective. Sasikala's nephew says that they are ready to face the Tamil Nadu government's probe. Listen in.
மருத்துவமனைங்கிறது நம்மளுக்கெல்லாம் ஒரு பெருமை சேர்க்கிற தமிழ்நாட்டை சேர்ந்த சென்னையில் உள்ள மருத்துவமனை. அவங்க மேலேயும் அலிகேஷன்ஸ். சரி, எங்கள் சித்தி அவர் முன்னாள் அமைச்சர் டாக்டர் விஜய் பாஸ்கர் இவங்கெல்லாம் அரசியல்வாதிகள், அதனால் அவங்க மேலே ஒரு குற்றம் சொல்கிறாருன்னு வச்சுங்க. ஏன்னா இது அரசியல் காரணத்துக்காக அமைக்கப்பட்ட ஆணையம். அவர் ஐஏஎஸ் அதிகாரி திரு ராதாகிருஷ்ணன் ரொம்ப ரெப்யூட்டட் ஆஃபீஸர். சரி, தமிழ்நாடு அரசாங்கம் என்ன செய்கிறாங்கன்னு பார்ப்போம். எதா இருந்தா எல்லாத்தையும் எதிர்கொள்வது தானே எல்லோருடைய இயல்போ, அதனால எதிர்கொள்வோம்.
At 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, and joining us on the show, we have a panelist with us as V. Pogadendi, spokesperson of the AIDMK OPS faction. Also with us is C. Rajshekharan, lawyer from Chennai. A. Sarvanan is spokesperson of the DMK. But first and foremost, I want to go across to Deepa Jayakumar, who's a niece of Jayalalitha. And let me begin by asking you, Deepa, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now. The Justice Arumagaswamy Commission's report is quite scathing and has found fault with VK Sasikala, K. Shivkumar, former Health Secretary J. Radhakrishnan, as well as the former Health Minister Mr. Vijay Bhaskar. What's your expectation from the DMK government now that this report has been tabled?
Saying again that there was a conspiracy surrounding her life and death all this while. Even starting from way back from 2011 or 12, when she got that whole family out, Sasikala and her family out, there was a conspiracy surrounding her. So I think the same thing applies here also. If at all this is true, if at all we are led to believe that all this information is true, most of them, as we ourselves know, or we can make out, is false and frivolous. Right from the day one, from the day of her admission to the hospital, we were just told, all the people were told that she was only having fever. So there is foul play everywhere that we can see. And most of the information given out to the public, the press, to the general public, and to even the party, I think the ADMK party members, they're all false. And now that we come to know, even the commission has looked at that point, taken all these facts into account. So I think fair treatment maybe was not given.
All right.
It should. I think the investigation should also look into this matter.
I want to come to that particular point because the report specifically states that one cannot resist subscribing to the theory of foul play in the process of treatment, and fair play was conspicuously absent. Now, this is a very, very serious observation, and how do you look at this?
Of course. Not only the treatment, everything was controlled by Sasikala and her relatives. At that point, those days, the government was also controlled by Sasikala and her relatives, and democratic in the first place. And again, now coming back to the question, the treatment process, the entire thing, everything was handled only by Sasikala and her relatives. No other person or anybody else was allowed, or nobody's opinion or views were taken into account. And even myself being a closest blood relative, the only blood relative, they did not even let me inside the hospital. All these things also need to be taken into account. So the investigation needs to be done as recommended by the commission also.
Right.
And even I think a lot of people who are left out from interrogation, they should also be taken into account.
Absolutely, because the report also says that the whole process of treatment remained in the exclusive control of Sasikala, her doctor relatives and few others who were constituting the coterie. But ma'am, can these observations be taken at face value?
No, I think those factors are all surrounding her life. And it was always there. We can't just rule it out saying that, yeah, Sasikala was the best person who had to be in my house. That itself is a conspiracy in the first place. Why did they not allow the blood relatives to even visit her or be with her or anything for that matter?
Right.
That needs to be really looked at. No one can live like that.
Absolutely.
Even my aunt, I think she was forced to be in that position.
Also, Deepa, there's a recommendation for a further probe. However, there's nothing even remotely indicative of a conspiracy or some strong evidence to make it more sinister. Should one be careful when such motives are being ascribed to any individual?
Sasikala and her family had the power and the authority to control the hospital and the doctors and all these people, personnel of the government. They were in absolute control. They were in absolute power.
Okay.
The whole state government and all the top officials were acting according to the instructions given by Sasikala and her family.
All right. Those are some very, very serious and scathing observations being made by Deepa Jayakumar in wake of the Justice Arumuga Swamy Commission report. Thank you so much, Deepa, for joining us this evening. Let me take this across to V. Pugarendi as well as C. Rajshekharan and A. Sarvanan. Mr. Rajshekharan, very, very serious and scathing observations that have been made by the Arumuga Swamy Commission report. The relative of Jayalalithaa, Deepa Jayakumar, also saying that these are serious charges and investigation must be conducted to look into the role of VK Sasikala. That's her allegation.
Madhav, see, this inquiry report submitted by retired Judge Arumuga Swamy has so many lacuna in it, because the same judge had come out after the inquiry, the commission was formed, said that Sasikala is innocent and she has nothing to do with the death of Jayalalithaa, and the inquiry commission is conducting all the inquiry with regard to all concerned. This was a statement of the judge himself, retired judge himself. That is a couple of years back.
But does that really hold any water today?
Out of the blue.
Once the final report is out in black and white, Mr. Rajshekharan, and yes, the court clearly says that the blame must be put at the doorstep of an individual. Now, whoever that individual is, the fact is that all those earlier observations stand negated. This is the final report.
Madhav, see, this is just a commission's fact-finding report. It has no powers but for a civil court powers. So the government of the day has to act according with the limitations. They cannot go and proceed with the criminal procedure. It has to be dealt with the civil code only. And going by that yardstick, I think the government today, the DMK government, will summon everybody, and it's a prerogative of the individuals who have been accused by the commission to appear or not to appear, refrain from appearing.
Let me bring in the government on that note. The DMK spokesperson is with us.
Nothing more beyond
that. It is incumbent on the government to act, because this is only the powers of a civil court that this particular commission has. Of course, the report is tabled now in the House. What will happen now? Will the inquiry be ordered forth with a criminal inquiry into this whole case?
Yeah. See, now the report is tabled in the Assembly. The leader himself and the others have clarified that we will get the opinion of the legal experts on how to proceed. See, the entire thing is one of our poll promises, that we will inquire into the circumstances which led to the demise of Selvi Jayalalithaa, and we allowed, and we all know that already this panel was constituted by the ADMK government, and they have been continuing. We allowed this panel to continue, and the panel has given its report. The question is, they have clearly, this is what we have been saying from day one. There was no transparency when she was there in the hospital, including the health minister Mrs. VK Sasikala and all others who were there, who were responsible, they have never put out the truth. They never put out the actual facts before the public of the state of Tamil Nadu. Whenever there is a bulletin, it used to be only from the CMO Apollo hospitals. None of the state government officials or anybody took responsibility for this, which is really very surprising. Because earlier, when Mr. M.G. Ramachandran was there in the hospital, it was the state government which used to issue the bulletin.
Right.
So what was the reason why no bulletin from the union state government?
Why was
Now,
this?
everything has been
Let's get in. In fact, one of the other panelists to respond to that, Mr. Pugudindi, the role of Mr. OPS also has come under question. Although the commission has concluded that VK Sasikala, K. Shivkumar, J. Radhakrishnan, then Health Secretary, and Dr. C. Vijay Bhaskar, then Health Minister, have to be found fault with, and investigation is to be ordered. Why is it that a private hospital was issuing the bulletin and not the state government? What was going on? Why were cabinet members not allowed to meet Ms. Jayalalithaa even while she was in the hospital bed? These are all very, very important and burning questions, sir.
That actually you have mentioned accusing the 4 person, Mrs. VK Sasikala and the Dr. K. Shivkumar, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Dr. Vijay Bhaskar. Sasikala is not a doctor. The kind of information.
No, I said VK Sasikala.
The doctor admitted the former chief minister.
My apologies if I mentioned doctor, sir, but I said VK Sasikala. Right.
Only along. Yeah, one thing. The second thing is, it is a part of negligence on the part of the administration of the Apollo hospital. That is because after admission hospitalized, they have to take care everything. Then the same chairman of the hospital released press release and met the press media and told Amma was very much okay. Anytime it is possible to discharge. This statement I have given. But
what about the role of VK Sasikala? What about the role of VK Sasikala that's being questioned here? What about the relationship between Jayalalithaa and Sasikala, which the court observes had seen many ups and downs since 2010, 11 and 12, and later she gets hospitalized. So if there are some very, very serious causes for the Justice Arumugaswamy Commission to be concerned and say that she has to be held prima facie responsible, then that cannot be just washed away, sir, even as much as you would like to, Mr. Pugudindi.
Now, who is Sasikala? You tell me now. He is not part of the government. When that she was,
but did she not have any sway over the government? Did she not have any sway over Poise Garden? Did she not have any control over what was going on?
The Tamil Nadu government would decide to send to the abroad or foreign country for further treatment.
No, sir. That decision was taken by those individuals who are doctors. And what was she doing in the hospital if that was indeed the case? That's an important question indeed. Let me come to our other panelists as well. Mr. Sarvanan, who is Sasikala to have actually been calling these shots? Now, is she somebody who no one in the government would listen to? Because clearly over here, the Justice Arumugaswamy Commission report has found that there is some merit in the complaints, at least, or the views against Ms. Sasikala and all of the other officials involved, that there was some kind of activity going on which was not above board. Now you have Mr. Pugudindi saying you only hold the hospital administration responsible. Mr. Sarvanan.
And another commission because the ADMK can't see. That's what the important and the sad fact is that all the other second-line ADMK leaders who were acting when Jayalalithaa was in power as Amma, calling her as Amma and falling at her feet when she was at the hospital, did not do justice to their leader. They were only interested in politicking. They were interested in ensuring that their whatever positions they hold or whatever higher positions they aspire for getting fulfilled when Jayalalithaa was there in the hospital. This is what our leader, when he was there in the campaign trail in 2019, assured that when we come to power, we will ensure that this happens. When ADMK was in power, Mr. O. Pannirselvam, the Deputy Chief Minister, did not appear for the inquiry. 8 summons were issued. He did not appear. Only after repeated media questions, he said, no problem, I will go and appear. And the commission finds fault with Mr. O. Pannirselvam also. He is the gentleman who wanted an inquiry on this. So it is the entirely doing of the ADMK leaders.
Well, one would have imagined, sir, after so many years of an inquiry, almost 5 years after the death has taken place, that when the report finally comes out, that it will actually settle the matter once and for all as to what has taken place. Unfortunately, what we have today are more questions about more individuals associated with this entire sordid saga. Who was the person ultimately responsible? Will there be an inquiry commission that can actually find out, an inquiry ordered which can fix responsibility for the individuals, and not just more questions about the individuals involved? Because whether it is the doctors, whether it is the hospital management, whether it is the political leaders, whether it's the bureaucrats, the ministers, all of them at this moment continue to remain under a cloud. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on this discussion on the News Hour this evening.